keep it short, but very enlightenment. It was hard to get out of the house today, but when you know Ustad Majid's here and the topic, you know it's worth coming. So without further ado, look, it's the new year. We all know what to do, and I don't want to take more of your time. So let's correct our mindset. We're here for none other than pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the blessed month of Rajab. You know, it's an honor, a new year, and Allah's month. Just Ramadan is literally around the corner, if you think about it. So without further ado, I'll ask Hafiz Daniel to inshallah come do some short recitation, and then obviously the nasheed will come on, and that's the time really to forget about what's happened, what's going to happen. This is your time. Allah's honored you. You've come in the cold, in the dark. So let's make the most of it, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم.
फिदा होता सहाबा को मैं देखकर चल रहा हूँ। फिदा होता सहाबा को मैं देखकर चल रहा हूँ। मैं आँखों में हरा गुंबद बसा कर चल रहा हूँ। मैं आँखों में हरा गुंबद बसा कर चल रहा हूँ। मेरी हस्ती का सामा आपसे है या मोहम्मद, मेरी हस्ती का सामा आपसे है या मोहम्मद। दामन को गुनाहों से बचा कर चल रहा हूँ, दामन को गुनाहों से बचा कर चल रहा हूँ। मैं आँखों में हरा गुंबद बसा कर चल रहा हूँ, मैं आँखों में हरा गुंबद बसा कर चल रहा हूँ। दिखाई दे रही हैं आपकी मशहूर आँखें या रसूल अल्लाह, दिखाई दे रही हैं आपकी मशहूर आँखें। मैं आँखों से आंसू गिरा कर चल रहा हूँ, मैं आँखों से
Brothers and sisters, those watching online, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So inshallah, as Brother Tabriz mentioned, we'll look to keep it short and sweet. But I mean, we come here, try to on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. And we do so for a reason. And it's interesting that we've now entered the new year, the new Gregorian year, in 2025. And whether you're at work, whether you're at school, wherever you might be, everyone will be speaking about having a New Year's resolution. With that, we've also entered the blessed month of Rajab. And it's one of the 4 sacred months of the Islamic year. And Rajab is effectively the kickstart to Ramadan. So Allah Azza wa Jalla Jalaluhu, it's mentioned that the month of Rajab is a month of Allah. The month of Sha'ban is a month of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the month of Ramadan is the month of the Ummah. Has anyone heard that before? Yeah. And there's a supplication that we make in this blessed month that may Allah forgive us, may Allah bless us in the month of Ramadan and Shaban, and may Allah allow us to live into the month of Ramadan. That's the virtue and the blessings of that month. The other thing is that if you ask yourself that we've had another year of our lives that has gone past, and it's flown by. Everyone says the same thing, a year's flown by, and it has. It's gone really quickly. But there will be a time for all of us that this entire life, this entire earth, will feel like a day or part of a day. That's how it will feel like. That's how it's reported that when we die and we are resurrected and we will sit amongst each other, inshallah, in Jannah, or whatever that place is, and we make dua is with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is with in the glory and the closeness of Allah Azza wa Jalla Jalaluhu, and we will be speaking about, earth. We'll be speaking about our time here, and we will say we were here for a day or part of a day. That's it. That's all of our years that we've lived here, 40, 50, 60, however Allah determines. If you think about that, then the time that we have to remember Allah, the time that we think about Allah, the time that we think about becoming better people, and what is someone that's a better person? Someone that Allah deems to be better. That is what it's all going to be about. And they go that when you are sitting, the people of Jahannam in the fire will say to Allah, or they will be questioned, what state are you in? And they will be begging Allah to take them back. And they will say, we would sacrifice everything. If you just let us go back to dunya, we will spend our time differently. The people of Jannah will also be saying that we want to go back to dunya. So what a strange affair. You've got the people of the hellfire saying to Allah, Ya Allah, we want to go back to the earth and we will sacrifice our wealth, we will sacrifice our time, we will sacrifice everything to be in your remembrance, to do what you asked. Allah will say to them, you lie. But we'll come to that in a second. But that's understandable, we get it. That's why they're saying, look, they've seen hellfire, they've seen the consequences, and they're like, Allah, please send us back, we will change, completely change. And then you have the people of Jannah that Allah will ask, how are you? They will say, Allah, we can't be in a better state. Everything that you want, they will say, yes, we have all our needs, all our wants, all our desires, everything is fulfilled. And then Allah will ask them, is there anything else that you want that I can give you? And they will say, we would love to come back to the dunya so that we can give more time in your way. We can sacrifice wealth in your way. We can sacrifice time in your way. We can do just that bit more zikr and just that bit more worship. Because a subhanallah that you say here on earth has more value, more power than the subhanallah that you say in Jannah. It's just the way it is. So taking that hour that you do on a Saturday, the effort that you put in to come here, the effort that you put in to listen about Allah and these reminders, because that's all the deen is, by the way. Any Jummah khutbah you go to, any lecture you go to, it is very rare that you will hear anything necessarily new or profound about our faith. The Quran has existed for 1400 years. The message is the same. So why do we have majlises? Why do we have all of this? Because it's all about a reminder. That's it. The ask of us isn't great. Remind one another what your purpose is, why you exist, what you're doing in your life. Do that as a small portion, and then try to act upon those reminders. That's it. That's the ask. And then we spend some time doing dhikr of Allah. These moments are going to be the most precious moments of our lives when we're in the hereafter. Our grave world will be dependent on these moments. Like to think, and you have to just really think about that we won't be asking Allah, that Allah, I went on that holiday, that was great, I had a really great time. School, I had such a great time with friends, I had this great, I went into the shops, I had a good laugh. All of those great moments that you have in your life, which we all have, we love those moments, those aren't the moments you're going to be craving for. The moments that you're going to beg Allah to have more of is these very moments that we're speaking about right now. That is what you're going to be asking Allah, that I could have spent a bit more time here, focused a bit more time. So when you think about that, this is literally the most precious time that I have in my week. I can make that clear. I work in the city, I work in London, I just came back from Oman. There's all these things that my week consists of, but there is nothing in my week that will be more valuable than the small time I have remembering Allah, period. And where you remember Allah, whether it's in a huge palace or whether it's in Alpha Park, in a community center, that doesn't make a difference, because where was the gathering that the Prophet ﷺ held in Makkah? It was at the house of who? It was Dar al-Akram. I look at Mu'azzam because obviously he's our seerah specialist. Yeah? It was Dar al-Akram, the house of Akram, and it was on the outskirts of Makkah. What happened in that gathering? A few people got together, like we do here, talked about Allah, talked about the purpose of their life, talked about how we can please Allah, and then they left and they went and continued to live their lives. That is literally, it wasn't some grand place, it wasn't the palace in Makkah, it wasn't one of those palaces, it was the house of Akram. Dar al-Akram was where they would congregate. So why am I mentioning all of this now? Because we're starting our new year, and we're starting the month, obviously Islamic New Year is in the month of Muharram, but this is fundamental for us because our entire lives are based around the Gregorian calendar. So 2025 has started, the month of Rajab has started. And I mentioned at the beginning that it is said that the month of Rajab is a month of Allah, the month of Sha'ban is the month of Prophet ﷺ, the month of Ramadan is the month of the Ummah. people have heard that, some people, I appreciate not everyone, will have been hearing that in their entire lives. And we hear them and we go, wah, wah, mashallah. Someone says Sha'ban in a nice way rather than Shaban. You know, like we think that's like gives us currency. But what is it that you're supposed to do in these months? Because that has to always be the question. The month of Rajab is a month to really refine and review your relationship with Allah. Really think about, in this month, I'm really going to dedicate to understand where is my relationship with Allah. And you know what the amazing thing is that, and it really, if I think about my life and I go back, the most precious times, you can get your relationship with Allah at any point in your life. That's the nature of Allah. He's so amazing like that. So there's never a lost moment. But I notice that we have a lot of young people that come, mashallah, I include myself amongst that cohort, but we have a lot of young people that come here. And one of the strongest times that you can really cultivate your relationship with Allah is when you're young, when you're at school, when you're at college, because you as an individual, you know, you think like something happens at school, one of your friends isn't talking to you, something like that, you think that's the end of the world. Like really life, there's so much more to life you realize afterwards, yeah? But that is your biggest catastrophe. That's the biggest thing that people concern themselves about. Oh, yeah, we're going back to school on Monday. Okay, am I going to be still seeing the same friends? What's going to be going on? All those kind of things that go through your mind. This is the time for those individuals like you to really think and connect with Allah, because He's the one that will help you. You know, when you're in your room and you're having that little anxiety, whatever it might be, that's the time to really connect and say, oh Allah, you're the being that I'm going to turn. Ya Allah, you help me. I'm feeling really nervous about this. You help me. Ya Allah, some of my friends swear. How do I deal with that? You know, how do I engage in that? Some of my friends send really kind of inappropriate messages. I'm on WhatsApp groups, whatever it is. Your life is your life. You know what your concerns are. Or you are perfectly immune to that. You don't mind. You know, your friends are swearing, your friends are sending this stuff, and it doesn't even bother you. Well, that's not right either. So this is the time now in this month to really think about that if you are in those circles, I'm not saying that you have to stop people necessarily, but you should at least know that what's going on around you isn't right or isn't great. You know, that helps you. That's where your relationship with Allah happens. Because why are you thinking it's not right? Because you're thinking about Allah. So that's the first thing I just wanted to mention, that this is a time that, you know, when you're in times of stress, times of anxiety, whatever it is, school, college, work, you can really, really begin to think, actually, do I rely on Allah? How much do I ask Allah? The second thing that I want to mention is because obviously the theme of what we speak about is the lessons from the story of who? I can pick on someone. The theme of these sessions are lessons from what? The story of Adam alayhi salam, Shaitan, and the interaction they had with who? Allah Azza wa Jal, Jalla Jalaluhu. Agreed or not? Okay. So I have to have a revision session and ask everyone what lessons we've gone through so far. Each person can come up one by one in the microphone. Yes? Okay. No, I'm not going to make anyone do that. But now think about this for a moment, because this is something that happened. And if you think in that story, because Allah mentions it at least 5 times in the Quran, and I know I say this again, and I'll say it again, that Allah is Allah. He doesn't do, you know as a fact, Allah doesn't do anything by mistake. Allah does everything for a reason. And as humans, as beings that Allah created, He knows us best and He knows how we can take lessons best. And if you are anyone that, if you think about how to connect with Allah this month, it's really about trying to connect with Allah, the being, Allah, the personality. Because the way that you do that, because Shaitan, this is a mistake that he made. That he started connecting not with the king, but he started connecting with what the king could give him. What could Allah give him? Allah gave him Jannah. Allah gave him status. Allah gave him rank. So when you start connecting with those things, you sometimes miss the bigger picture. That The real being, what you're really wanting to connect with, is Allah, the being of Allah, not what Allah can give you. Love Allah and have a relationship with Allah for who He is, not for what He can give you. Now, the route to having that relationship might be because we ask Allah for things, don't we? We ask Allah for things. That's fine. Do that. You should have that. You should have dua is there to ask Allah for help. Do that because it makes that connection with Allah. But also take a portion of your time just thinking of Allah, just thanking Allah for being Allah. And look, if you can get that right, the level of sincerity, sometimes I do this with my kids because I'm a bit weird like this. I was sitting down today actually, and I said to my son, my youngest son, if I said it to my teenage son, he'd get really embarrassed, but I said to my youngest son, I was like, do you love me? Not because I'm insecure, I need that appreciation. I said, do you love me? And Abu Bakr Ali said, yes, I do. And I said, why? And he got a bit embarrassed and he's on the Mac. And then he goes, because you're my daddy. He actually said it a bit like that. Now, I'm so glad he said that. And he didn't turn around and said, oh, because you gave me this or you gave me that. Because I'm his dad, okay? I thought, okay, I'm not going to push this anymore. I'm just glad that he's given me that answer. But imagine if he did say to me, oh, I love you. Oh, because, Abuji, I really love you because you got me the PlayStation. He might think that's a good thing. Can you imagine how I would feel? That you only say that you love me because of the things I give you. That would, as a parent, that would upset me. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love me, but he's not loving me. He's loving what I can give him, what I can do for him. As a parent, I wouldn't want that. My kids, I would think my kids have missed the mark if I'd be like, okay, so hang on a minute. If I stop giving you all of these things, does that mean the love stops? Is that all I'm loving? Is that all they're loving me for? Is that the only reason they're patient with me? Not that mine are necessarily patient with me, but is that it? And I think about that now with Allah. That we as parents wouldn't want that. We wouldn't even want that with that from our friends, that someone's our friend only because we give them something, only because whatever. You want your friends to be your friends because of they love you, they like you, they have attachment to you. So think about that in this month, that we want to be in a situation, we want to cultivate a relationship that we love Allah for Allah, not for what He can give us, not for what He can save us from. Yes, they're all there, but if you can get the love of the King, everything else comes. If you can get the heart of the King, then the kingdom, the gifts, all of that comes. If my kids can love me for me, then obviously everything that I can provide for them, that happens naturally. But that is where our goal should be. That's where our focus should be. And that's where Shaitan fell. Because he loved Allah, or he had an attachment to Allah, I should say, not for Allah being Allah, but for what Allah was giving him. That was it. And that's when you're in that scenario, because then what happens is when Allah then decided to take something from him, what did he do? Completely disrespected Allah. Completely disrespect Allah. And again, we don't analogize for Allah, but for our own learning, it's like a kid. If I said to my kids, that's it, I'm banning screen time. I'm going to take the PlayStation, I'm going to take that. And they begin to hate me for that. Yeah? Can you imagine that? That's a purely transactional relationship. That means they don't love me, because someone that loves you, the person, that means that when you can give them something and they appreciate it, but when you pull that thing back, the love doesn't diminish. They might not like what's happened, but they still love you. And that's really crucial here, because that's what happened with Shaitan. You knew that he didn't love Allah, because the minute Allah brought Adam alayhi salam into his life and gave Adam alayhi salam a higher rank, he was like, well, hang on a minute, Allah's taken something from me. And all of that nastiness, all of that ugliness came out. And that's just likewise. We as people wouldn't accept these type of insincere relationships, and we shouldn't expect it from Allah, who is our Lord, who has created us, that has done everything for us. Like, there is no one, again, I now use the parent analogy because we can understand that. our parents, for my kids, our parents did it for us, my parents did it for me. They are your biggest fans. They want the best for you. Yes or no? Yeah, in majority of cases, parents want the best for their kids. Yeah, they're rooting for your success. That's it. Allah, there is no being that wants us to be more successful than Allah. That Allah is so rooting for our success, that He wants the best for us. And just like when, as a parent, you know that sometimes you have to put your kids through hardship. And what do I mean by hardship? Sometimes you have to make them eat what they don't want to eat for their benefit. At that moment, they might be thinking like, they don't see the logic. Why am I being made to eat this? Why am I being made to go to sleep at a certain time? All my friends, other people get to chill. Why am I? But you as a parent know that you're doing something for their benefit. And Allah deals with us at a much greater level because He loves us more than our parents. That He puts us through a hardship because He knows it's for our betterment. He knows that when He tells us to do certain things and He tells us not to do certain things, He's doing so because He knows that in the long term, it's going to benefit us. And like a parent wants the best for their kids in the long term, why do we send our kids to school? Why do we discipline them? Because we know that all of these things will give them a better life, whatever it might be. Allah is dealing with us at a massively transcendent level. We can't equivocate. But it's just understanding that this month of Rajab that we have, we can really, really think about our relationship with Allah. And the way that you can demonstrate your relationship with Allah, really cultivate it, is to do at least two things that we can, as a thing that we can take away, is just at least every hour, every moment that you get, every hour, and look, we can do this because we have phones and everything, just to at least think about Allah. That Allah is with us, that He's watching us, that He's hearing us. Because it just reminds you of Allah. Whether you're at school, wherever you are, at work, just think about Allah. And the other thing is just to use this month to just be a bit more quieter. Just have a period of silence, whether it's with your family, with your friends, especially when people are talking about stuff that they shouldn't be talking about. If they're backbiting, if they're gossiping, if they're swearing, in all of those scenarios, if we can stay silent, I'm not even telling you to stop the person doing what they're doing. If you can, that's different. I'm just saying you as an individual make the decision that I'm just going to stay silent. I'm not going to speak because it doesn't benefit the situation. And I'm not speaking because of Allah. That is what Allah has asked of us. That's it. Very, very simple. Just being, so this week to next week, that's something that all of us can go away and implement. You can put reminders on your phone that every hour you think about Allah. You can do it as a family. Does it make sense? Oh, did you think about Allah? Just think about that. It might seem, it's like, who here drives? Raise your hands. Who here, okay, I don't want to be stereotypical, but do sisters just not drive? Okay, because some do. And who here rides a bike? Okay. Now, when you learn to do anything, at the beginning, it's clunky. What do I mean by clunky? It's like a bit fake, isn't it? You have to kind of get the car in gear, it stalls a bit, it's all a bit it's all over the place. Same with when you ride a bike, you put one leg on the pedals, you're trying to do it. Now, when those of you who ride a bike now, you don't even think about it, you just ride. You just get on the bike and you're riding. Those who drive a car, you don't even think about it. You just put the car into gear and you're driving. But it took time to get to that position. And likewise, it's the same with Allah. It will take that, what I'm saying to you is, as easy as it is to ride a bike now, or easy as it is to drive a car right now, it will be as easy as that to think about Allah. And just imagine being one of those people. Imagine it, that every hour that you have this habit of just Allah comes into your mind all the time. That one of your friends swears, or you see something, you think, astaghfirullah. You haven't done it. You even say astaghfirullah because you've seen something, oh, sugar, that's not great. And you think about Allah. Someone's gossiping, and you're just like, you just go quiet because you know that that's not what Allah would want you to engage in. Yeah. And then you just get into that. And look, when you're thinking about Allah, just thinking about Allah, that's when you start having a relationship with Allah for who He is and for not what He can give you. Because at that moment, you're not asking Allah for anything. You're just remembering Him. But you should, whenever you want something, like again, the door of dua is very simple. Asking Allah for things is absolutely the way we should do things. That's who we go for. But just, if you can get into a habit of just thinking about Allah at least every hour, as easy as it is for you now to drive a car and you don't even, like, you're not conscious about it, it just happens. As easy as it is for you to ride a bike, yeah, as easy as it will be as easy as that to be in a remembrance of Allah. And that you will see your lives change. Things become so much more easier because you get perspective on things. You know, and that is exactly, we'll talk about this more maybe in the month of Shaban, but that is how the companions were with the Prophet ﷺ. And this is very important to understand. They loved the Prophet for who he was, not for what he could give. And you see the distinction. Now, if I say to you the word munafiq or the hypocrites, have you heard that? There were a time in the Prophet when they were hypocrites. Yeah. When did the hypocrites appear? Were there any hypocrites in Makkah or did they appear in Medina? Zainab, you said Medina. Why? Why did I saw you mouth it? Yes. Sorry. Well, you're right. Yeah. They appeared in Medina. There's a reason why. Because in Makkah, to be a Muslim was hard. It wasn't easy. You were getting persecuted. You were hiding it. So there was no benefit in being a Muslim. In Medina, there was benefit because the Prophet ﷺ was the head of Medina. He had a treaty with the Jews and with the Ansar and with all the tribes that he would be the main leader. So now being a Muslim gave you something. It gave you power. It gave you respect. So then the hypocrites were the ones what? That became Muslim not because they had an attachment to the Prophet ﷺ, but for what the Prophet could give them. See the difference? Just by that, they have a rank of a hypocrite is one of the worst ranks you can have, or worst status you can have as a Muslim. You're not a Muslim. It's a worst status you can have in Islam. Yeah. Why? What made them a hypocrite? Because they never had an attachment to who the Prophet ﷺ was, but rather about what he could give them and do for them. So think about that. And then finally, I ask you to think about it from your own parents-child perspective, that you would have more love, more reverence, more attachment to those children of yours that love you for you and not for what they give you. Yeah? And those relationships are the ones that last the test of time, because when that thing gets taken, the love carries on. So we want to be like that with Allah. So inshallah, as I conclude, that having that relationship with Allah is the most important thing. And we're in the month of Rajab, and Allah makes it easy in this month to have an attachment with Him. So we can all do that now. We can spend some time thinking about Allah, spend some time having periods of silence where we see something's not right, but we're doing it for Allah. And that will allow you to get to a station where Allah becomes your default relationship. Yeah? And that's the biggest safeguard, because it means that you can make mistakes in your life, and we will all make mistakes. You might do something wrong, but it means that you ask Allah for forgiveness, Allah forgives. That's the nature of Allah. But it means that there's always a route back. Whereas if you love what Allah can give you and not Him, then the risk is the steps of shaitan, because he worshipped Allah. He worshipped Allah. He prayed. He did everything. And you see people that do that, but they're not nice people. Why? Because they don't have that attachment with Allah. Yeah. But you can get the attachment with Allah, then anything else can change. But that relationship is the most strongest and most profound relationship ever. And it's the thing that will give you success in this life and the success in the hereafter. So inshallah, I'm going to conclude. If anyone has any questions, inshallah, then by all means ask. Equally, if there's anything online as well. So going back to the point, look, that the qualities that Allah has, the sifats, that is what are some of the things that makes Allah Allah, the most beautiful. That is where the attachment comes. But the point being is that that's not the basis of the love. Yeah. So the sifats of Allah are part of who Allah is, but the loving Allah is that you're not loving Allah like His generosity is not the condition on why you love Allah. That's the main thing. It's not the factor. Yeah. All of these things can lead to loving someone. Absolutely, they can. But for you, it's that if you have that reflection, if someone gives or doesn't give, Allah gives or doesn't give, Allah takes from you, the love doesn't change. The love still remains. And that is cultivated, going back to the point that Nasir mentioned, with whether it's a parent, whether it's Prophet, all of these things, these qualities are what attracts people to people. That's the nature of things, absolutely. Yeah? Those are the route or the roadmap to loving Allah. But it doesn't become the precondition then. It's not, if I might like the example Nasser said that, yes, I might be generous, that might be a good quality, that my son might love me, everything else. But it's not if I am no longer generous with him, like for example, I don't give him something, that love doesn't get pulled. Doesn't make sense because he loves me now. It's not conditional on me doing that particular favor or something for him. But those are factors that lend to love or lead to love. Any other questions? Anything online?
Yeah, inshallah, I've been sent a question, but before I ask, anybody else here has a question? Okay. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for your time, Ustad. Quick question on time management and making the most of this new year and how best to get close to Allah. Often one's own family can be a barrier to work of the deen or dawah. How does one effectively manage time between their duties to their family and time in the work of the deen?
Very simple. It's a good question, but they're two very, very separate points. Yeah. How to get close to Allah, I have set out a very clear roadmap for us to practice over a week. It is as simple as that. Remember Allah. Think about Allah as much as you can in an hour in your activities and try to remain silent, especially in the face of bad things that you might see. Because why are you going to be silent? You're going to be silent because you're going to be remembering Allah doesn't want me to engage in this type of behavior. That will begin to cultivate your relationship with Allah. That is the routine for the new year. I'm telling you, it's simple as that. Because Allah has made everything. It's a statement of fact from Allah that this religion is easy, and it is easy. But it's underpinned by your relationship with Allah. So that answers that bit. The second part of what the question is asking is, that they want to get involved in the work of deen, in the work of Allah. They have family responsibilities and so forth. Again, life is very, very simple. That Allah sets out very clearly what your responsibilities are to your family, to your spouses, to your parents. It's all very clear. You have to fulfill their rights. Now, that doesn't mean that if you want to do something in the way of deen, if someone, and I make this joke and I make it really, sometimes people always say to me that they want to get involved in stuff and they might say, I get hassle from my family that I'm not giving them enough family time or so forth. And I say sometimes that the day that your husband or the day that your wife says to you, please don't go to work today because I want you to give me family time, is the day, in my view, that excuse stands up to the test of time. Because why is it when you have to give time to Allah that people are then concerned about, I need some, I need some one-on-one time, I need some love time, I need some you time, and all that kind of stuff. They don't ever say it. Like if it was such a big thing, why would they not stop you from going to work then? Because they understand your priorities. Yeah, they understand that you're working. For them, it's a priority. So then the question is that they haven't understood that Allah is the highest priority. Does it make sense? It's just something there. So you can't make people understand that Allah is the highest priority. That's not our job. It's not your job. It's not my job. But what you need to know is that you know that Allah is your highest priority, and therefore you need to set the boundary very clear that I need to give some time to Allah. That doesn't mean that I'm going to abandon you and I'm not for a moment thinking someone should go off to the woods and stuff, or anything like that. Yes, you work. You fulfill the rights of your family, you should do. That includes giving people family time, fun time, all of that stuff. Time is very simple if you can apportion it properly. Most of us don't manage our time well. We do what's called, what's that term? It's like we vegetate, like we spread, we take, like on the weekend, we'll spend 2-3 hours just getting out of bed. It's all that wasted time kind of thing. And then all of a sudden when someone says, okay, I'm going to do something now for Allah, then everyone's to attention says, okay, what about my me time kind of thing. Doesn't work like that. As long as you know that Allah is your priority and that you're fulfilling all your other rights, and you just put boundaries in very simply, that you just have to say that, sorry, this is it. This is now my time with Allah, just like I give some time to you, just like a wife might want to give some time to her mum. She might say to her husband at that point, look, we spent some time together, but I want to go see my mum for a bit. Likewise, a husband might want to go see his mum, at that time, that you're clear about that. You've got a clear boundary. Mum, dad are a priority. You have to give them time. Husband and wife are a priority. I need to give them time. Well, where's Allah in the equation? Just like it's so easy for you to make those things balance, Allah should be at the forefront of that discussion, inshallah. Anything else? Very simply put, in your time that you have, whether it's a 24-hour clock, whether it's your week, in that week, you should have some time dedicated to Allah in the service of Allah. Yeah. You should have some time dedicated to your family, and you should have some time dedicated to yourself, and you should have some time dedicated to working. That's it. Yeah. That is a fundamental point. I've not once said that the time in the way of Allah happens only after you have 50 grand in your bank account. I've not said that. I am telling you from the get-go that in your week, in your day, there should be some time that you dedicate in the service of Allah. There is some time you dedicate in the service of your family, time to dedicate and for doing work and everything else. Period. And you can manage that. Time management is the easiest, whoever the questioner was asked about that, just manage your time. Find the time, and that might mean that you have to reduce something else. So reduce it. We have to rebalance, repivot our lives all the time. So strip something back. And then you strip something back, and maybe you realize after a month or so you need to readjust, and you readjust again. That is how time management generally works. In any corporate field that you work, you manage your time, and then priorities change, and you reprioritize and you readjust. But let me be clear: at no point have I said that there should be no time for Allah, and that time only comes in after you think you've done all the other stuff. No. I am telling you from the get-go that you should have time dedicated towards Allah, time dedicated to family, and the timetable should be made around those priorities, inshallah. So, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, before the zikr, obviously, as Ustad's mentioned, this is the new year. And at this center, we do teach a complete holistic course free of charge, how to get too close to Allah Ta'ala, how to purify ourselves before we're in the grave. And in that, you get access to a free one-to-one mentor. And perhaps some of the questions, I'm not going to take on up any more of your time, but I had a similar question that I asked my mentor because of work, everything, family situation changes, and you get a guidance according to one situation. Sometimes it's not a one fixed answer for everybody. And just going on about, again, I was with one of our senior ustads, and he was explaining to me how when you imagine something, you draw a picture, that it sinks in your mind. And now our ustad was saying about, remaining silent, thinking of Allah when somebody's joking, not getting involved with it. And we have one of our jovial brothers. He's not actually here, so I can say it. And he's actually one of the mentees of our own Ustad Majjid. And he was in earlier on, he was in a kebab shop. And there was a bit of banter going on. And he actually didn't join in. And now I know why, because obviously it's a Rajab. He's a Ramadan's coming. So he's building that connection with Allah. So the reason why I'm mentioning it to you, it sounds hard when you're driving, it's easy for us to say it, but amongst ourselves, our brothers who are on this course, they're at that level now. They're in a takeaway shop, having a kebab, people are joking around them, but he's not getting himself involved with that. So that's just something for you to have a think about, food for thought, that if he can do it, why can't we do it? And the only reason why is he is on the course of self-purification where he has got a mentor, he's got access, he's on his journey to Allah. So if you're not on this course, then please, for the sisters, approach Ustad Hafsa, for the brothers, approach Ustad Majid or myself. And this is a great start to a new year for you, inshallah. So without further ado, we'll come on to the Dhikr. And like Ustad Majid said, again, it's a reminder for myself, this is a very precious moment for us for the rest of the week. We don't actually appreciate it, how precious it is. So for the next 5 minutes or so, inshallah, the lights are going to go off. 3 keys. Allah's watching, Allah's hearing, Allah's with us. And with your heart, make dua for the brothers. Recite the zikr loudly, inshallah.
الله 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 حفيظ ناصر الله لا إله إلا الله حفيظ ناصر الله لا إله إلا الله لا مسجود إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا مسجود إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله 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 أنت المولى أنت الحق ليس المولى إلا هو أنت المولى أنت الحق ليس المولى إلا هو الله 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 حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا الله 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 أنت الهادي أنت الحق ليس الهادي إلا هو أنت الهادي أنت الحق ليس الهادي إلا هو لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا مسجود إلا الله لا مسجود إلا الله أنت الحق ليس الناصر إلا هو أنت الناصر أنت الحق ليس الناصر إلا هو لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله 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 الله
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya Ghafar, Ya Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi. Ya Allah, our Lord, our Master, the King of the universe, Ya Allah, the Lord of the mighty throne. Ya Ghafar, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Allah, please accept this dhikr that has been recited, Ya Allah. Ya please, your mercy and blessing and rahmah, bless this gathering, bless all those who have attended, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whatever words have been shared, Ya Allah, allow myself first and foremost and others to act upon the Naseeha, Ya Allah. May we be a people of action, Ya Allah, not just a people of listening, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whatever abilities that you have given us, allow us to use them to do things, Ya Allah, that you are pleased with, Ya Allah, and not that which displeases you, Ya Allah. Ya Ghafar, Ya Rahman, Rahim, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi. Ya Allah, all the people that are here, Ya Allah, they have problems, they have concerns, they have anxieties, Ya Allah. Whether it is the children here, Ya Allah, whether they're concerned about going to school, a new term that starts, Ya Allah, whatever concerns, anxieties they may have, Ya Allah, please alleviate them for them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whatever problems they think they have or they have, Ya Allah, please remove those problems for them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, instill into them the confidence of your divine light, Ya Allah. Allow them to be strong and confident in themselves, Ya Allah. Allow them to be beacons of responsibility, beacons of goodness, Ya Allah. Allow them to be amongst their friends with confidence of goodness, Ya Allah. Ya Ghaffar, Ya Rahman Rahim, Ya Rabbi, Ya all the people that are here, Ya Allah, whatever problems they might be going through, Ya Allah, please alleviate their problems, Ya Allah. Whatever things that are keeping them up at night, Ya Allah, please alleviate those things, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, whatever they wish for, all their lawful wishes, all their lawful wants, Ya Allah, whether it is a house, a car, whether it is the Prophet and yourself, Ya Allah, please grant it to them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant them you, Ya Allah, grant them your beloved Messenger, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Allah, there will come a time, Ya Allah, that we will cherish these gatherings, Ya Allah, cherish the time that we had just to talk and remember you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, allow us to cherish these moments now, Ya Allah. Allow us to value them, Ya Allah, and allow us, and Ya Allah, give us more of these opportunities, Ya Allah. Ya allow us to be in the service of your path and your work, Ya Allah, and the work of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, all of those of us who have our parents who are alive, allow us to honor our parents, Ya Allah. Those of us whose parents have deceased and passed away, Ya Allah, grant them goodness and increase them in the rank in Barzakh, Ya Allah. Protect them from any punishments, any hardship, Ya Allah, and forgive them for their shortcomings during their life, Ya Allah. Ya Ghaffar, Ya Rahman Rahim, Ya Rabbi, Ya Allah. You send no one to the fire, Ya Allah, for the sins they commit. You only send people that have not said sorry, Ya Allah, that have not done astaghfar, Ya Allah, that have not done tawbah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, please forgive us for all our mistakes, Ya Allah. That which we remember and that which we don't remember, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that through your fadl, that there are things that we have done wrong, but we may not even realize that we did wrong, Ya Allah. We ask that you forgive us for those as well, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that you forgive all of the Muslim ummah, Ya Allah. That you ask that you alleviate and remove the hardships that are going on across the world, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there are such injustices happening, Ya Allah. They are the people of Gaza and Palestine, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are seeing the most horrific horrors happening, Ya Allah. We have the comfort of our children being safe, Ya Allah. Their children are burning, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we have food and water, and their food and water is being starved, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, they have no voice, Ya Allah. They are feeling and going through such depravity and such oppression, Ya Allah, that we have not witnessed or seen with our eyes ever like we are seeing now, Ya Allah. You are the one that can deliver them, Ya Allah. So we ask that you deliver them from oppression, Ya Allah. That you protect them, Ya Allah. That you honor them, Ya Allah. The way that they are being sought to be dishonored, Ya Allah. You will raise them and you will honor them as you honored Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ya Allah. We ask that you honor these people, Ya Allah. That we ask, that we beg of you that the oppressors cease to oppress, Ya Allah. You have all power, you have all might, Ya Allah. And it is upon your might that we ask, Ya Allah. And we ask to you and we turn to you for help, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us the best of this life and the best of akhirah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you say that few of your servants are grateful for the blessings that you have given us, Ya Allah. We thank you for water, we thank you for safety, we thank you for wealth and health, Ya Allah. Every single thing you have given us, Ya Allah. All the blessings, our children, laughter, eyesight, teeth, beauty, clothing, everything, Ya Allah, that you have given. Only through your fadl we have all of this, Ya Allah. We thank you for it all, Ya Allah. We ask that you grant us again the best of this life and the best of akhirah, Ya Allah. That you make the hellfire haram for us, Ya Allah. That you connect us with the righteous and pious people in this life that can guide us to your blessed Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who internally and ultimately guides us to you, Ya Allah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Nabil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam, Ya Allah. In this blessed month of Rajab, allow us to glorify and strengthen our relationship with you, Ya Allah. To truly love you for you, Ya Allah. To love you, Ya Allah, for you, Ya Allah, not for what you can give us, Ya Allah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Nabil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Ameen.